right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening.
Crypto, just by learning about it.
Sorry.
Coinbase Earn is the fast.
I'm testing the sound and then the ad comes up. Okay. There we go. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. It's been a week since I made a video. It's been just the craziest week, so had to get back on a live stream here so I could get some content out to you all. So while people come on in, let me play a song of mine called No More Time to Think. So many atmospheres to change from. It's hardly just, but Lord knows I must. In time we trust, constantly in a rush. So I've got to be sure of myself when I talk. Keep thoughts to hush. The more you fuss about your situation, the less you get somewhere, the harder it gets to bear. Don't hesitate or attempt to penetrate that soul inside. You'll lose your job and then your mind. No more time to think once or twice. Use your instincts and act right away. No more standing still gets a slice. But I'd rather think of my own cake to bake. So many faces to see, so little time to not say one word. Keep walking these square street lines. Remember, not holding too many memories. This life is full of moments that might make it hard to leave. To pray or meditate is to pause for too long. Work for food, eat your dinner, write your lonely song. Ponder nothing now, wait to tell you'll be tired. Find out that you're tired and you're uninspired. No more time to think once or twice. Use your instincts and act right away. No more standing still gets a slice. I'd rather think of my own cake to bake. Have no worry for the wondering and the thinking that you think that you bring. Baby, we're at home with all the mumbling and rumbling through an abundance of nothing. Don't you know that there's no time? So rather think of my own cake to bake. Okay. Hey everybody. Good to see you today. Playing some of my favorite music. Thanks, Julia. Julia's such a great supporter, so I really appreciate it. Thanks. That's a song called No More Time to Think off of my second album, Airplane. Was was just practicing the Jack Johnson song. Great, yeah. The last video a week ago was Upside Down by Jack Johnson. Kind of tougher than you would think, right? That Jack Johnson song seems like it would be doable fairly quickly, and then you kind of get into it, and all the strumming stuff he's doing is a little tricky. So check that out. I'm pretty happy with the video from last week. Hey Andrew. Not much, man. How are you doing? So I'm good. I'm a little bit exhausted. It's been quite the week, and I really just had a wild week of work and teaching and gigs. I had 3 gigs over the weekend. 2 of them were 6 hours away in Kearney, Nebraska. We had 700 people out on Saturday night. We opened for Logan Mize, and it was a lot of fun. And then Sunday had to race back to where I live here in Colorado for an afternoon gig. So I had 3 gigs this weekend, and it was just great. But I am a little tired because I also teach full time at a community college, and I teach my own students as well. So that's why I haven't had a video in a week. So usually I'm much more active on YouTube. Glad to hear you're good. Okay. Do you know any bossa nova? Of course I know bossa nova. Yeah, I know some bossa nova. That's called blue bossa. For you. So, hello Radislaw. Hello Mitch. Hope you're doing well. Thanks. I am doing well. Hope you're doing well too. So, you know, it's been a week since I made a video, and now my schedule after this weekend will start to calm down. Oh, good. Thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed that. So my schedule is calming down, and I'm going to be able to post more videos. And what I want to do is just do a live stream today and talk about how chords work and a little bit about chord theory. It's so important to take the extra step and understand how things are working, because especially as guitarists, we're told put your fingers here, play. And I'm a big believer in getting going, right, and just playing. But I'm also a believer in understanding what's happening, so that really you can have fun with creating your own chords, creating your own sounds, understanding how chords work. So my goal today is to basically break down a bunch of ways in which you can understand chords and create your own chords. All right. Let me actually tune up a little bit, because I'm using my girlfriend's Martin. This is her recent purchase. It's really just a beauty, and it's a DM16, and just really happy with this guitar. So I'm going to tune it up a little bit, because it's kind of been in the case for a few weeks here, and it just has such a great tone. And as you probably know from my videos, I mostly play a Taylor, but the Martin is just so beautiful. So wanted to do this today. Here we go. So let's talk about chords, and let's just dive right in, because I don't want to keep you waiting, right? So let me pull up my document here. First off, we need to understand the anatomy of a chord. And it's interesting with chords, because chords kind of came later in history than scales. Scales were more of a thing early on, and when I mean early on, I mean kind of ancient music. And if you study music in college, you'll probably encounter this when you look at pre-Baroque music. You'll see in Renaissance, medieval, and earlier that really it was all about scales and modes. And a lot of these modes have Greek names, Dorian, Mixolydian, Ionian, and that's because that was really what was happening. So I kind of want to go the opposite direction and talk about chords as they appear through scales, because that's really how it happened. Chords are more of a modern invention. All right, so let's talk about the anatomy of a major chord. All right, and then we'll kind of go from there. I think we need the foundation of it. If I take a 7-note C major scale, all right, we have 7 notes, okay, and then it repeats, and that's, at least in Western music, that's how we deal with it. So if I skip every other note from the first note on, I would have the first note, I'd skip the second note, so I would have C, I skip D, and then I'd have E, right? I'd skip the next note, which is F, or the 4th note, and then I would have G. And that's a C major right there, C, E, and G. But in terms of all 12 keys, we can think of it relatively speaking as 1, 3, 5. Okay, 1, 3, 5. If you're more comfortable with solfeggio, it would be do, mi, sol. Because in a scale, you might have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. But in a chord, you would just have do, mi, sol. Okay, so we have what's called thirds stacked. All right, so if this seems a little bit confusing, just take some time with it and understand that really it's just 1 to 3, 3 to 5. Those are third intervals. Now, to break it down further, we can understand that 1 to 3 is a major third, because in a major scale, it's all whole steps from the 1 to 3. 1 to 2 is a whole step. 2 to 3 is a whole step. So that creates a major third, or 2 whole steps. When we go from the 3 to the 5, if you know the piano at all, you know that between the 3rd and 4th note of a scale, there's no black key, so it's a half step. So E to F is a half step. And then F to G is a whole step. So now we have a minor third. All right, so there's an interesting balance in a major chord between a major third and a minor third. So major third, C to E, minor third, E to G, and that's what creates a major chord. As we play the first 2 strings of a C chord, we're just repeating the octave up. So that would be C and E, right? Another major third. But really, it's just 3 notes in a C major chord, repeated up the octave. So that's the anatomy of that. Now, if I take the E and I flat it, guess what I would have? I would have a C minor. I would have a minor chord. So a minor chord, just to get this out of the way so we can build from here, would be a minor third, or 3 half steps, followed by a major third. So you can kind of view the minor chord as an inversion. Okay? So that's really necessary to understand at the very beginning of understanding chord theory, how a chord works. It's stacked third intervals. Whether it's a major third and a minor third, that would be a major chord. Or whether it's a minor third and a major third, that would be a minor chord. And if you take music theory in college, that's one of the first things you'll learn, Major, minor. So that third of E can be flatted to make a minor. It's really clear with bar chords. If I play a G major bar chord, okay, if I go for my root here, which is the 1, 1, 3, 5, that would be a major third, G to B, G to A to B. Then B to D would be a minor third. B to C is a half step, C to D is a whole step. So that's a major chord in the bar chord formation. If I take the B and I flat it, I have G minor, because G to B flat is a minor third. B flat to D is a major third. All right. So just notice that, because that's going to help you, right? The more you notice these things as you're playing, as you're improvising or learning songs, the better. Because then you can start to connect the scales. Because if I played a G minor and I play a G minor pentatonic, I can notice that note in the chord, the B flat, the flat third. Then it can stop being such a mystery as far as how the chords and scales work. Okay, so let's take this a step further. What if we say, all right, we understand that a chord is stacked third intervals between the 1 and 3 and the 3 and 5. What if we keep going and we just stack another third? Do you know what I mean by that? We've skipped a note from 1 to 3. We've skipped a note from 3 to 5. What if we skip another note from 5 to 7? What will we have? We'd have a 7th chord. All right, and we've all seen this. Even beginners have usually seen 7th chords, and they've probably learned a few of them. But it's not enough to just memorize where to put your fingers. You want to understand, why is it a 7th chord and how is it functioning? So let's say I have a C, okay, C major. And I have 1 to 3, C to E, 3 to 5, E to G. Now I want to go from G to B. I want to do another third. I'm going to skip the 6th note, which is A. I'm going to skip that note and go straight to B. Now I have a C major 7 because I've stacked another third on top of the G. So I've gone from C, 1 to E, 3 to G, 5 to B, 7. Here's the B. Okay, there's a C major 7. So when you have a C major 7, all of a sudden, or any major 7, you have 4 notes. C, E, G, B, or 1, 3, 5, 7. What if I saw a C7, not major 7, but just C7? That's called a dominant 7. Now we would have a flat 7. So when we say flat, we just take it down a fret. So instead of B, which is the 7th note of C major, we just make it flat. We just make it a C7. And you've probably seen this chord before. Very fun for blues and folk and bluegrass. Okay. So the sevenths should hopefully not be as much of a mystery now. Now you can understand why they're happening, because we're just stacking thirds. Chords are basically thirds stacked. 1, 3, 5, 7. 4, 7. All right. What about a minor chord? If I had a C minor, I have 1 flat 3 5. What if I wanted to continue the third stacking from 1 flat 3 5? Okay. Well, I can go the same route as before, and I could make it a flat 7, which is in the C minor scale. So I skip the 6. Now I have a C minor 7. That's why we say 7, because it's the 7th note of the scale. And let's check that. Here's the 7th note of the C minor scale. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. So that's why when we play a C minor 7 bar chord, I would usually lift the pinky so that that B flat, which is the 7th note, can ring out. Or I can play it even here, 6th fret 1st string. All right. Does anybody know what we can do next? Let's say we want to go to the extreme and keep stacking thirds. What would be the next chord after 7 chords if we keep stacking thirds on top of these notes? Any jazz fans out there? Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I will be a little bit more active in the next coming weeks. Had some busy. Yes, Andrew. 9th. And yes, Patrick. Good. Very good. So, 9th. If we just keep adding thirds, we have 1, 3, 5, 7, and then we just keep adding a third. Now we have 9. Now, what is 9? There's only 7 notes in the scale. Why are we saying 9 and not some number between 1 and 7? Well, if we already have a 7th in the chord, we assume that the thirds are stacking on top. That's why we say 9. So if I said, hey, you know, I've got a C minor 7. Okay, well now I have a third on top of the 7th. So I have a C minor 9. What would the 9 be? It would be D. Because if we go from B flat, we would skip the C and go to D. So, excuse me. There we go. So we would have a 9th now, which is the same as 2nd. If you just add 8, or if you add, if you just think of 8 as 1, right? Now the 9 is 2. So 8 is 1, 9 is 2. So you can make a C minor 9 chord. C minor 7, C minor 9. Right? Octave of the 2nd, exactly. The 9 is the octave of the 2nd. What about the next one after 9? So we've got C minor 7, which is 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. Then we would have a 9 chord. Here's the 1, flat 7, flat 3, 5, 9. All right, I'll just tell you this one. It's an 11. Yep, good. Andrew is on it. I love it, Andrew. Well done. We would have an 11th chord, so we'd have C minor 11. Let me show you what I would usually do for that. That kind of thing. I've got root, 5th, flat 7, 11. Now I am missing the flat 3, but that's because the guitar often doesn't allow us to do every single note of a jazz chord. So sometimes I do something like this. Root, flat 3, flat 7, 9, 11. That's 3rd fret, 1st, 3rd, 3rd, 1st from the 5th string down. Really beautiful chord. And the 11 is the 4th an octave up. And the reason we say 11 is because there's already a 7th, so we're stacking thirds. So we have 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11. So can you kind of get the idea that these are based off of skipping notes in the scale and stacking thirds? If you can understand that, that's already a huge step in understanding how chords work, because really a chord will just skip a note in the scale and stack the thirds. Okay? If I played an arpeggio, I would go 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11. Sometimes I do this as a warm-up, just thirds. Okay, so you can get all sorts of interesting chords. Now the final one, just to put a period on this topic, would be the 13. Okay. So it gets a little crazy, and it's not chords we see every day. But if I stack one more third on top of the 11th, I would have a 13. Let me go back to a dominant 7. If I had a C7, 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 9. There'd be a C9, sharp 11. Usually sharp 11 is better with dominant chords. 13. That would be a 6th, an octave up. There would be a C13. So, as is normal with my live streams, a lot of this is meant to introduce ideas to you that you can research for months to come, right? It's not like I need you to understand everything right away in order for you to benefit. So, think of chords as stacked thirds, and that would be really a main point of this. All right, good. Now, let's get back to a little more common chords. Well, I could always play a song. Why don't I play a song first? How's everyone doing? Let me know what you're working on and how your day's going. And if there's any lessons of mine you're working on. Julia said she's working on the Jack Johnson song I posted last week. And I've been so busy, so I really needed to get back to the channel here today, post a lesson. Stack minor or major thirds. Good question, Julia. It depends on the key. So if I'm in the key of C minor, it would be a minor third, then a major third, because that's the key of C minor. If I go from 1 to flat 3, that's a minor third. From flat 3 to 5 happens to be a major third in the key of C minor. From 5 to flat 7 happens to be a minor third in the key of C minor. From flat 7 to 9 happens to be a major third in the key of C minor. From 9 to 11 is a minor third. From 9 to 13 is a major third. Meaning it depends on the key. If you're in major or minor, it will be different. But there is a formula. So that's why you really want to get comfortable with the scale of major and minor. And I'll be posting more videos on that. And also, if you join the Patreon, I will be posting a lesson on this where I'll be posting a lot of these chord voicings. And I think I'll just probably do it for the lowest $2 a month level. So I really want to thank all the patrons for supporting this, because that's keeping the channel going. So check that out. It is in the description below. And I really appreciate your support. So I will be posting some actual fretboard chord voicings where you can see these thirds being stacked. Okay, so let me play a song that I wrote a long time ago, but I'm pretty happy with it, called Wash Away. All right, and then let's talk more about chords. I have a lot more to talk about, although time is already moving fast here. Let's see. It's already been 25 minutes. That's amazing. Okay. This is called Wash Away. Exhale the amber, dark blue used to race light. Ear to a seashell, a hermit shed out of its head, distant and gone to never tell. Wide awake, but it doesn't feel the same when I'm walking with open eyes. Twisting around, dizzy while still sitting still. Is this a dream or am I awake? Ear to a seashell, a hermit shed out of its head, distant and gone to never tell. Wide awake, but it doesn't feel the same when I'm walking Don't save me if I won't swim. Let me sink with the rising tide. Wash away, sink below everything. Don't come back to the things you love. Wash away, sink below everything. Don't come back to the things you love. Don't come back to the things you love. Don't come back to the things you love. Okay. Message retracted. I'm not sure what you were saying there, but I'm all ears, whatever you got to say. All right, so that was called Wash Away. So that was an original of mine, actually, on Cuckoo Clock. Can you help me improve my bar chords? Yeah. Bar chords, you want to basically think of them as you have your easy F to start, okay? And that's going to get you going on just the strength needed for bar chords. Think of it as not necessarily needing all the strength from your thumb, right? People push too hard on their thumb. So you want to basically use the side of your finger, the left side of your first finger. Then when you get to the harder F, you can kind of push down on the left side of your first finger. And it's a muscle, so if you know about muscle building, it takes about 6 weeks for muscles to really build. So give it 6 weeks. Do it every day for 5 to 10 minutes, and just practice that F, practice a B, practice a B minor. Those are the first 3 bar chords to learn: F, B, B minor. All right, so let's get back into the content, into the lesson here. What if we want to change? So we've kind of gone over the deep end on stacking thirds: 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay, those are the most common chord tones. Then you'd have 9, 11, 13, which gets into jazz territory, and neo soul and R&B, funk, all that. Now let's get into let's kind of step back and go back into 1, 3, 5. If I want to change the third, I would basically want to move the third first, okay? So the third is in between the 1 and 5, and so we can kind of move around and create what's called suspended chords. So if I wanted to make a sus4, I could identify the third. Let's say I have an A major chord. And if I said, okay, I've got the third here. Here's a 1, 3, 5, stacking the thirds. And if I took that third and I wanted to move it to the 4th note of A major, I'd have an A sus4. What if I wanted to move that third to the 2? There's the 2nd note of A major. 1, 2, 3, 2. So here's the 2. There's a nice sus2. Really good to understand how that works. Instead of just memorizing how to play a sus2, you actually want to understand why it's a sus2. So it's suspended. The reason it's suspended is because the third stabilizes it and makes it major, whereas the sus4 or sus2 would suspend it and give us a feeling of there's something that's a little bit catching our ear there, and that's the suspended 2 or suspended 4. If I had a D chord, here's the third, F sharp. If I make it a 4, sus4. Do you recognize this song? Okay, not going to sing it because I want to keep this all original stuff. But here's a D, here's a sus4. Now back. It's actually an A sus4 right there. Free falling. Okay. So, go through some chords, and if I said, okay, well, I've got a G chord, and I've got the third here. Here's the third. I can make it a sus4. I have an E chord. Here's the third here. I can make it an E sus4 by taking the third note of the chord and making it a sus4. That's why it's pretty crucial to map out the chord tones. What is the 1? What is the 3? What is the 5? Here's a 1. Here's a 1. Here's a 1. Here's a 5. Here's a 5. Here's a 3. Same with bar chords. If I'm playing a G bar chord, that third string, fourth fret is a third, so I can make it a sus4. It's like Hard Day's Night. Alright, it's like a A sus4. Beatles, right? Alright. So, another chapter of this live stream would be sus chords. Alright. What if we change the fifth of any chord to a sixth? Instead of changing the third, what if we change the fifth? This might be losing people here, but if I have an A chord and I change the fifth to a sixth, I all of a sudden have the relative minor. I have an F sharp minor 7. If I change both fifths, here's a fifth on the E of A chord. Here's a fifth. If I change those both to a sixth, I have the relative minor. That's a different lesson. But that's now. What if I add a sixth and I keep the fifth? So I'll keep this fifth and I'll change the fifth up here to a sixth. I have an A6 because I've added the sixth degree of the scale to the chord. Same thing with anything. If I have a C chord and I change this fifth to a sixth, I have a C6. Okay. So next time you play these seventh chords or sixth chords, find the sixth, find the seventh. That's my homework for you. Take the extra step, right? And if you're playing piano, a lot of times it's really clear visually. Guitar, we have to do a little more digging, right? We have to do a little more searching. It's not just going to be so apparent. So we want to take the extra step and say, why is it a seventh? Why is it a sixth? And if you do that, it usually will pay off in the long run. Maybe not right away. You might think, gosh, who cares? That's a sixth. I barely know why it's a sixth. But maybe in a week or a month, you'll say, wow, now I can play sixths anywhere, And it'll really kind of open up your playing. Any questions, any comments? What's on people's minds? This is a nice time to connect with you all and chat a little bit. So, there's more to talk about for sure on my end, but I have the tendency of going on, and on a live stream we have the luxury of hearing what you have to say. So I've got some teaching to do today, so I will have to sign off rather soon. So that's the sixth. Okay, let me think about this. Now, how can we use this a little more non-traditionally? If I want to sing vocal harmonies, and I'm in a band and I'm playing guitar, how can we use this information of chords to really go the next level? Let's say somebody's singing and I say, how do I harmonize? First off, what is harmonizing? Harmonizing is two notes at the same time. So you could say every chord is a harmony. Okay. Harmony is it's called polyphonic, meaning poly meaning multiple, phonic meaning sound. So every chord is polyphonic. Every harmony is polyphonic. And if I want to sing harmony, I can use this same logic of stacking thirds to sing harmonies with people. Which, by the way, I love singing harmonies. It's just such a joy. So if somebody's singing, you know, da 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 da, that would be these notes. Da 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 da. Who knows, whatever song it is. And then if I want to harmonize with that, can I use the same logic of stacking thirds to harmonize with that person? I can. So if I go up third up from that, from C, I would go to the E, because it's in the C major scale. And I go da 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 da. Sorry. Da 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 da. So now the harmony would sound like this. What if I wanted to sing a third part? Can I just continue this logic? Absolutely. I can stack a third from the E to the G, a minor third because of the key of C, from E to G. So now I would have this. Let's see. There we go. So that would be. Maybe I want to change that and make the final one a fourth interval. There we go. So that would sound like this, 3-part harmony. Oops. Sorry. There we go. Does that make sense? I'm basically saying, yeah, I want to harmonize. Scales are second intervals stacked, not stacked. Scales are just second intervals stepwise. Chords and harmonies really work in thirds, at least to keep it simple for now. They can also work in other ways. And so you can you know, you can basically harmonize with yourself on guitar or with a vocalist, or you can loop something and then harmonize it in thirds. And you know, chords, they don't just have to be strumming chords all the time. You could use this with melodies that are harmonized in thirds. All right. So good. Covering some good stuff here, I think. Hopefully you can use it for your own. We'll keep this a shorter stream than normal. Usually I go an hour, but I think we'll kind of keep it shorter. So that's that. What about creating your own chords? What if I said, how do you create a chord on your own? What if we want to get a little crazy and a little creative and just ignore the thirds for a second and say, somebody pick a scale. Somebody pick any scale they'd like. Major, minor, a mode, whatever they'd like. Any key. Doesn't have to be C. And then I'll show you what I mean. As I take a sip of coffee, let me know. Any scale you'd like. Remember to join the Patreon if you'd like to support the channel and get access to about 60 tabs. I will post some stuff on what I'm talking about in the next day or two. Remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell. All right, so what if I said, okay, so no one's commenting a scale. That's all right. What if I said Dorian? Okay, Dorian. Great. Perfect. So Dorian is the second mode of the major scale, and it's a minor scale with a natural 6. So it has a flat 3 and a flat 7. So good. I want to create some Dorian chords. Maybe I want to do it as a practice session. Maybe I want to do it for a songwriting activity, or to rework a song that I already know. Who knows, right? Or maybe I want to figure out what this chord is, and I notice some Dorian notes. So let's say I have D minor 7. And the scale that really works best with this type of chord in this in the context of where that chord would appear would be Dorian, say. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, natural 6, flat 7, 1. All right. So what if I just say, I'm just going to pick some notes out of Dorian. And I'm going to basically create interesting chords. First off, here's a D minor 7. What if I add the natural 6? It's in the scale, so it can't be wrong, really. Meaning, as long as it's in the Dorian scale, I can choose anything I want. I can go to flat 7. Let's say I want to replace this flat 3 with a 4 that's in the scale. Okay? There's a chord. Let's say I want to make it the 9 right here. D minor 9. Very popular in funk and soul. Okay, just take that flat 3, move it down a fret. What if I want to just move away from this position here? Here's a flat 3 of Dorian. That's a D minor 9, D minor 7. Looks like an F chord, but in the key of D, it's D minor. Or let's see here. Now I'm playing the 9, flat 3, flat 7 of Dorian. Nice chord there. See what I'm doing? Just picking notes out of the scale. Great way to just mess around, really. Here's the natural 6, 9, and flat 3. Meaning I can create chords by playing through the scale. Any note from the scale is fair game, is the point. Only notes in D Dorian. So let's say you have a scale and you've been working on the scale and you say, what's next, you know? Start combining the notes. If anything, you'll just get some interesting sounds, and maybe you'll get some chords you'd like to use later. D minor 11, D minor 9, oops, D minor 7, D minor 7, D minor 6. Good. That's that. I think that's probably probably a good stopping place. Because I need to get to work on some other things. I need to make some more videos for you guys. So I had a little bit of a week off. Not a week off. A week off from the channel. Really a lot of stuff going on in my life. I'm in 3 or 4 bands, and gigs are starting to open up. And I played 3 gigs over the weekend, and I'm teaching some college courses. So I love working on this channel, though. So my goal is to get back to it, and to keep you guys busy with improving and with having fun on guitar. Feel free to always shoot me an email. My email is below. Yeah, Julia's saying those modes make a knot in my brain. Absolutely. So modes are something that, ease into it, take it slow. So no rush there. Everything is a journey, and it's all about enjoying the journey. It's not just about the end result. So there you go. Hopefully this has been helpful, and I'm hoping that I have 2 more gigs this weekend, but I'm hoping to kind of get back to it. And always feel free to comment, say hello, make sure to subscribe, make sure to check out the Patreon if you haven't already. And it's always nice to hear from you all. So your homework is to mess around with some chords. Notice the 3rd intervals. Notice the 7th and a 7th chord. Try out some other notes of the scale. And this is something that takes time. So give it some time. Other than that, have a wonderful day. And it's almost the weekend, so have a wonderful weekend. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. All right. George came at the end. That's all right, George. Hopefully you can watch this later. So thanks everybody. Good to see you all. Happy practicing, and rock on. Bye.